So Elon Musk has put his Twitter buyout on hold, sparking some interesting questions as to why and what Twitter has been doing for a while now. Um, it seems that Twitter has said less than 5% of their accounts that they hold are fake accounts or bots. That doesn't seem to be the case though. Um, he did put in a little request for himself to audit the accounts. Twitter said you can't do that because we have some personal information that we cannot disclose. And he sent out a tweet saying, it's just going to be 100 accounts. And everybody was up in arms like, why just 100 out of the millions of people on the platform? Why are you doing just 100? That just doesn't seem viable. In his reply, he said, well, that's what Twitter did. And it kind of set everybody up in arms about it again. Because out of a million people, a sample size of 100 just doesn't seem viable. Especially when you're the one choosing what accounts are audited and everything like that. So he has put his deal on hold for that reason. And we're going to go into a little bit of detail about this and see exactly how this is going to transpire. We got from the Business Insider here. Where is it? There's my mouse. Elon Musk puts his $44 billion Twitter buyout on hold. He could be trying for a better price, buying himself time, or preparing to scrap the deal altogether. In either case, it still seems viable. He should be able to do that, especially seeing as how what Twitter has been doing. Let's see. It says Elon Musk proposed $44 billion acquisition of Twitter. Elon Musk's $44 billion acquisition of Twitter took another surprising turn Friday when the billionaire tweeted the deal was temporarily on hold, while he scrutinized the number of fake spam accounts on the platform. The timing was puzzling. Musk tweets cited a Reuters report on Twitter filing that 10 days old at the time, and which didn't contain any new information about the fake accounts. In a note to clients Monday, Wedbush analyst Dave Ives said pressure on Tesla stock, a volatile market, and deal financing issues suggested Musk had got cold feet about the buyout and could be using the fake accounts issue as a scapegoat to push for a lower price. Scapegoat to push for a lower price? Absolutely not. You say your accounts are only at 5% or lower as far as bots accounts are concerned. If it is much higher than that, then are you not defrauding your investors at that point who believes that they're actually reaching real people when the bot accounts that they're actually reaching are much higher? To be a scapegoat to push for a lower price? It's not a scapegoat. I mean, if I'm buying something, like you tell me that you have an annual revenue of $2 million and I buy the account, and your annual revenue is 10% of that. Is that a scapegoat to push for a lower price if I find that out before I buy it? No, absolutely not. It isn't. You say your value is $2 million when it's really 200,000. Yeah, I can buy you out for a lower price because you lied to me. But Tony Sakanagi, oh my God, names of people. Tony Sakanagi, an analyst at Bernstein, told CNBC. God, Jesus, I can't read today. I never can read anyway, so what's the point? Told CNBC that Musk putting the deal on hold was probably a negotiation tactic amid broad sell-off of tech stocks. Several analysts agree that Musk could be trying to push for a lower price. Some suggest his fake account tweets could be a pretext to abandoning the deal altogether. Again, that could be he does have a $1 billion back out clause. he has to pay $1 billion if he falls on the buyout. But if it isn't what you say it is, that buyout is null and void at that point, because the contract states a certain amount of accounts are supposed to be fake or bot accounts, and it's a lot higher than that. Yeah, that is a fraudulent contract altogether then, and everything in there should be null and void. Unless Twitter grossly misreported data, which would be a serious security fraud. This might be a way to either negotiate a lower price or walk away. Stefano Bonini, corporate governance expert at Stevens Institute of Technology, told the Financial Times. Two analysts also told the Financial Times that they believe Musk was trying to leverage a better price. Before Musk tweeted he was putting the deal on hold, short seller Hindenburg Research speculated that he was in a strong position to reprise the deal, which he is. I mean, if that's the case, he straight up is. Musk could insisted in a follow-up tweet on Friday that he was still committed to the Twitter deal, but his current offer rests in part on a $12.5 billion loan against his Tesla stock, and Tesla stock prices have sunk more than 20% since he went public with his bid. Yeah. If he wants to drop the deal, he'll need a good excuse. There's a clause in the Musk offer that would allow him to abandon the buyout if he pays a $1 billion exit fee. However, CNBC reported that the option would be only available to Musk under specific circumstances. For example, if a regulator blocked the deal or it ran into problems with third-party financing. A mergers and acquisition lawyer familiar with the matter told CNBC that if Musk tries to walk away from the deal just because he feels he overpaid, Twitter could sue him for billions. Could they though? I mean, if they fraudulently claimed their business was doing better than it was, if the whole contract or the whole buyout deal was fraudulent altogether, would that hold up in court? Because I don't think it would. I mean, if I was a judge and you brought me that information saying, okay, well, they said 5% of their accounts were bots, it turned out to be, let's say, 15, 20%, you lied. You straight up lied. You inflated your numbers. Investors would be coming after you to sue the hell out of you then when that comes out. Yeah, I'd let him off the hook if I was a judge, because seriously? I mean, none of that makes any sense. Wedbush's Ives said Musk could. Why is this written so fucked up? Said Musk could cite concerns about fake accounts and a grounds for walking away while paying the exit fee, but Twitter would probably contest this in court. Daniel Rubin, a mergers and acquisitions attorney in corporate law from Deckard, told the Financial Times that Musk could still find ways of forcing the Twitter's hand in letting him out of the deal and paying only the $1 billion exit fee. He can always engineer the conditions that we will leave Twitter with no meaningful choice but to terminate, Rubin said. Since Twitter's boards accepted Musk's $44 billion offer, the Tesla CEO seems to have been attempting to limit his risk exposure. On May 5th, he announced he'd line up an extra $7 billion in backing from the third parties. Bloomberg reported Thursday he was attempting to restructure financing of the deal so it was less dependent on his Tesla stock. Musk did immediately reply when he contacted. Musk did not immediately reply when he was contacted by Insider for comment. Christ. I don't know why that whole article was so hard to read for me, other than the fact that I'm mentally deficient in reading. No, but that just seemed way too just like it was written weirdly. But yeah. None of this whole deal has seemed right from the start. There's been problem after problem after problem, trying to stop him from buying the company out. Even our own government has gotten involved in that, and why I have no clue. But even our own government has gotten involved in that as well. I do have a clue. I mean, it is where supposedly everybody gathers to share information. I mean, it was really essential with the 2020 election as far as that goes. Which more has come up about that? But yeah, I mean, if your platform is built on bots and fake accounts and everything like that, you are defrauding your investors. Just because everything's fake doesn't mean you should still get that $44 billion. Nor should he have to pay that $1 billion exit fee because everything you told him was a lie. From this one, what is this one? Another thing, just out of the blue, another mention. I should have brought that at the end of it. As a matter of fact, let's do this. Yep. All right, that's going to be at the end. But he was on a little podcast. What was this? That was the All In Summit. It wasn't a podcast. It was a All In Summit. He was talking about this, and I want you guys just to be able to hear this. The laughter in the background of the crowd kind of says it all, but I want you guys to hear this. Go ahead and make this full screen.
One of the things to do to say, like, have you tried calling them, as opposed to like trying to read the tea leaves here? That's like impossible, you know. Obviously, you can have an account that looks exactly like a human account,
I don't know or is
being operated where one person is operating 1,000 accounts or something. But that person can only buy one toaster. They're not going to buy 1,000 toasters. So you care about like number of unique, real people that are on the system. It's extremely fundamental. Right. And anyone who uses Twitter is well aware that the comment threads are full of spam, scam, and just a lot of fake accounts. So it seems beyond reasonable for Twitter to claim that the number of essentially the number of said another way, the number of real unique humans that you see making comments on a daily basis on Twitter is above 95%. That is what they're claiming. Does anyone have that experience?
Exactly. Now, the fact that he laughs about that, I'm going to pause it right there. We'll play a little bit more on that. The fact that he laughs about that, and the crowd laughs about that is amazing, because I'm going to go ahead and tell you there are times where I have gone on Twitter. I have now gotten my account back. Everything in my account has been stripped from me, all the followers and everything, whether they were deactivated or they haven't come back or whatever like that. I don't know. But when I was on Twitter, I would post on something that had nothing to do with politics, just like stupid little memes or something like that. And no mention of politics, no mention of any kind of anything political in any way. And I would still get, replies, but Orange Man bad, Trump did this, Trump did that, and had nothing to do with the situation. And it seemed to be a good, I'm going to say 50, 60% of the interactions I had on Twitter were just people doing that. And something that made absolutely no sense at all why any human being would actually have that reaction. Well, you need to stop being on vacation there, Abel. This is actually hard as hell doing this, getting everything ready, especially when we plan for 2 people. But anyway. But my interactions on Twitter have been nefarious as hell, to say the least. To just like, I'm not big on Twitter at all. I never really have been. I've had an account since 2017, and I barely use it. But the interactions just didn't seem viable to me at all. like I'd interact with a little meme, just laughing or making a joke about it or something like that, and somebody says, "Orange Man, this." That has absolutely nothing to do with the conversation. You reply to that account and they come back. You'd say something like, okay, so what does Trump have anything to do with this meme? Orange Man bad. And that's all you got from it, you know? Or they never replied at all. So I don't think that 95% of the accounts that they have are actual human beings. I've never really thought that. I knew it was a huge little bot farm. But this just brings it to light even more. What do you need a vacation for, man? What the hell? People have to work for a living. I'm sorry.
I mean, really? Listen, like, there's a bridge I'd like to sell you, you know. You know. and so, also, you can buy the Brooklyn Bridge.
What do you think it is?
What's the? I mean,
if it's not 5%, what is it?
I think it's some number that is probably at least 4 or 5 times that number. I'd say if you did sort of the lowest estimate would be probably 20%. And this is a bunch of quite smart outside firms have done analysis of Twitter and looked at the sort of daily users, and their conclusion is also about 20%, but that's a lower bound. It's not an upper bound.
Wow.
If you look at, say, the most.
Hold on. He's saying right there, other people have looked into this issue as well. And he's saying the lowest percentage is around 20%. So that means every single time you get a reply or you read a reply or you see anything, at the very least, 20% of them are bots. Kind of does ring true from my experience.
Liked tweets on Twitter. So I have the honor of having the most liked tweet of any living human. This is thank you everyone for liking my tweet, including you, some of the bots out there. But that tweet is less than 5 million likes. It's like 4.7 or something like that. And that was where I tweeted about that next time buying Coca-Cola to put the cocaine back in. It's clearly something that the public really wants, and Coca-Cola Corporation should really think about going back to their roots. Coca-Cola. I mean, this I guess is the reason why our grandparents could sort of walk 20 miles in the snow because they had Coca-Cola with cocaine. This is the real reason. So. Anyway, that is literally the most popular tweet of any living human. But Twitter says that the sort of monetizable daily active users is 217 million. So why would it be that the most popular tweet ever basically is only 2.5% of the entire user base?
Great point. If there's 217 million accounts, and on the low end, 20% of that, which would be 21.7, 43.4 million of them are bots. Why the hell would I buy that? Yeah, why would I buy that if 20% of your company is fake as shit? Why would I buy it at a price over what it's worth at that point? I mean, that makes no sense. You fought this man the entire way along as far as buying this company. Even our government tried to get involved and stop that. The poison pill situation that happened with that. where they were saying if he bought up more than 15% of the stock, then the stocks would drop to pennies on the dollar and everybody could buy up whatever they wanted. That is, you tried to stop this man at every turn. And now he's shown all this. He's getting through. He's owning the fuck out of them. Literally, he's owning the hell out of them. And this is what stops it. Even if it was just to show everybody, yeah, Twitter's not the place you think it is. It was worth this hell. It was worth this headache. On a low end, 20% of the accounts are fake. Yeah. Yeah, it was worth that. But you should actually check this out. I haven't actually seen the whole thing. That's actually a pretty good little spot for him as far as that goes. We got another little thing here. This is not actually related to Elon Musk, but I did want to bring this up. It kind of corroborates everything we've been saying for a while about Twitter. This comes from Project Veritas. I want you all to listen to this.
Twitter does not ruin free speech.
What do you
Elon
mean?
being free speech. Capitalists, if we weren't really operating in a capitalist mode, we were very socialist. Like, we're all like communist.
Ideologically, it does not make sense, like, because we're actually censoring the right, not the left. Because everyone on the right wing.
We're actually censoring the right and not the left. Weren't we saying that? And everybody's like, oh, no, that's a conspiracy theory situation. Right-wing accounts just seem to get banned all the time, but yet left-wing accounts, they're okay. Like, fuck. You got people on Twitter, like Antifa, was organizing and letting people know we're going to be here to burn this down at this time. Join us. And that was allowed. But yet you couldn't question the 2020 election. I got banned for calling out the lies after the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. You know, after everything was said and done from his trial, I got banned because people were out there saying, oh, he was out there killing black people. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. I got banned for doing that. But yeah.
Be like, bro, it's okay to say, you just gotta tolerate it. The left would be like, no, I'm not gonna tolerate it. I need it censored, or else I'm not gonna be in the country.
So right-wing people are just be like, okay, well, I mean, I don't like what you're saying, but you can go ahead and say it. And again, the left is like, no, you can't say that. That needs to be removed. You need to be removed. You need to be excised from society because of that.
So it does serve the right. It's true. There is bias.
I don't know if the two parties can truly coexist on one platform.
What do your colleagues say about it? Like,
They hate it. Oh my god, I'm at least like okay with it, but some of my colleagues are like super left.
what do they say?
They're like, this will be my last day if it happens. So,
Has much changed since like Elon's coming out?
a lot has changed. A lot has changed. We're all like worried for our jobs.
Why are you so worried?
You know, jobs are at stake. He's like,
I started working for Twitter and became like, I think it's just like the environment. Like you're there and you become like calm.
we did all we could to like revolt against it. A lot of employees revolted against it. But at the end of the day, board of directors have a say, and then they acted on their best interests because they didn't want to get sued. I basically went and worked like 4 hours a week last quarter. That's just how it works for our company.
Yeah. How would you describe communism besides Twitter?
Essentially, like everyone gets to do whatever they want. No one really cares about like OpEx, like capitalism.
Everybody gets to do whatever they want. What the fuck?
care about numbers, but care about like how to make the business more efficient. But in Twitter, it's like mental health is everything. Like if you're not feeling it, you can take a few days off. People take months off, they'll come back, but you always like do your best at any time, and that's the culture.
People take a few days off, they come back. Some take months off and come back. Jesus Christ, I wish I could do that with my job. Just, I'm leaving for a few months. I'll be back, man. Just don't worry about it. What the? Seriously? Mental health? Mental health of what? Now, yes, I'm sure if you're in the whole little, hey, we need to ban this, we need to ban that, you're going to see some fucked up things. Like there's a lot on Twitter. Like there was a report of, even child CP being on the platform, and that was never censored. That was allowed to stay, even though the child at the time had proven he was underage. They allowed it to stay on their platform. I'm pretty sure with people like that, yeah, okay, your mental health is kind of important with something like that, but taking months off and your job still be reserved is, wow.
And, we'll run the business as much as possible. Capitalists would be like, you gotta generate profits or you're out. A lot of people wouldn't survive that culture.
A lot of people won't survive in that culture. No shit. Anyway. But I did want to bring this up too, as well, just the top on the Elon Musk kind of situation as well. This was from the summit as well. And this is kind of indicative of how how most people's political leaning has come to be within the past couple of years, within this decade at least. It's disturbing as hell that moderate people, kind of like myself, even Tim Pool, and apparently now Elon Musk, have, come on, we can't let racist white people like Elon give people like Trump full freedom of speech. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. It is the First Amendment. But yes, we can. Anyway, I want y'all to hear this. This shows our political climate, and this is kind of a big sign that most of America has had enough.
A need for a public town square, digital town square that where people can debate issues of all kinds, including the most substantive issues. And in order for that to be the case, you have to have something that is as broadly inclusive as possible, that has as much of the people on the platform as possible, yes. Where it feels balanced from a political standpoint. It's not biased one way or the other, and where the system is transparent. This is why I think it's important to put the algorithm on GitHub and actually allow the public to see it and critique it and improve it. And if there are any manual changes, sort of shadow banning as it's called, or increasing or decreasing the prominence of a tweet that's done manually, that should be noted, so you know what has happened. And it's not just, you're just where it is right now, where you don't know what the heck is going on. Why is one tweet doing well? Why is another tweet not? Is it the algorithm? Did someone manually intervene? Why are some accounts banned with no recourse, apparently? And the reality is that Twitter at this point, has a very far left bias.
Yes.
And I would class myself as a moderate, and neither Republican nor Democrat. And in fact, I have voted overwhelmingly for Democrats historically, overwhelmingly. Like I'm not sure.
Not so much
I might never have voted for a Republican, just to be clear.
Right.
Now this election, I will.
Wow. David, you okay?
Keep going. He's fine. We're going to resuscitate him.
We're going to resuscitate David Sachs. I mean, let me ask you a personal
question. The point I'm trying to make is that this is not some sort of attempt to, it's not some right-wing takeover, as say people on the left may fear, but rather a moderate-wing takeover, and an attempt to ensure that people of all political beliefs feel welcome on a digital town square, and they can express their beliefs without.
No, it doesn't go ahead and say it, but he did say in a tweet that he will be voting Republican. I feel like I should bring that up too, because it's kind of along the lines of America's tired of this shit. We really are. Everything is racist, sexist, transphobic, homophobic, and everything. Like just this push, the problems we're seeing. Sorry. The problems we're seeing within our school systems, things like that, it's just gone insane. And everybody is sick and tired of it. Even Georgia has seen record in-person early voting. For Georgia, it was up like 239% in-person early voting. We're all tired of it. We're done with it. We're done with the bullshit, especially with, how many billions of dollars have we sent overseas to Ukraine now so we can fight for their borders, but yet our southern border is wide open. All our baby formula is down there, and we have a baby formula shortage in the United States because apparently immigrant babies are more important than American babies. And now somehow that's an attack. You cause these problems in America and you wonder why people say, fuck off. You're the ones causing this problem. But somehow people like us are domestic terrorists because we don't want to follow along with your fucking agenda. Which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this has been scrubbed from most. I can't even find it on DuckDuckGo or Google anymore. I was actually going to bring it up yesterday, but I couldn't find the articles or anything supporting it in mainstream. And every single article that I did find actually went to, when I clicked on the link, shoved off into somewhere else. But the World Economic Forum, they're having their annual meeting this year in, what is it, May 22nd to 28th or something like that. They're voting for our country and 194 other countries to dissolve the constitutions, dissolve the rights of their citizens during the next pandemic. You heard that right. It's been scrubbed largely from the internet. Everywhere that you're going to see is some site that's not going to, it's not your credible news sources or anything like that, but that's actually happening. That's going down. Now, there have been reports of United Nations troops moving through our southern border, which is kind of worrisome. You can look at it and say, oh, these are immigrants moving through, but why is it a lot of the videos that we see now, there are no children? Why is it the people that have supposedly walked hundreds of miles, again, just like we saw in 2020, why are their clothes clean? Why do they look like they're freshly shaven, freshly washed? Why are they all military age in most of the videos that you see now? Are we surprised though? Hell no. I'm never surprised about anything anymore, especially with our government the way it is now, the things that they have done. I'm never surprised about anything anymore. The illegals get free baby formulas, but our babies don't get any. Yeah. American children. The abortion thing, which I am setting up more talks with that. I'm trying to get more people involved with that. There was supposed to be a huge group discussion, but the one that I did do with just 2 people wound up taking 3 hours. I do want to set up more talks with that. There are more people who have said that they want to, so it's just kind of getting multiple people together, just to have a small group to kind of talk about the situation and to kind of end the whole thing off of inviting some of the people that make the best points back to have a real group discussion about it. But yeah, that's still going on. I'm still trying to set all that up as well. It's hard getting people together in real life to do that kind of thing. But I just want to say this. I don't care if it's taken down. Even if they vote to take away our Constitution and the rights of our citizens and the citizens of 194 other sovereign states around the world. Let's put it this way. Thomas Jefferson said it best. When tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. Now, it's been leading that way for a while. But when that becomes the main, when that becomes a thing, when the World Health Organization says you can't do this and you can't do that because of a supposed pandemic, which, by the way, y'all remember those smallpox vials that were found in Philly? You heard anything about that lately? I mean, that was a year ago. Why isn't there any information about that? FBI was investigating. What happened? Yeah. So that's the thing. That's something you gotta look out for. The only platform where I have actually found information about that coming forward is, weirdly enough, is TikTok. Weirdly enough, information about that has been developing has come from the most abusive and censorious platform I have ever seen, even worse than Twitter. Weirdly enough, that information is allowed. But yet, if you go back here on YouTube, episode 14 was taken down because it was supposedly vaccine misinformation, where I talked about the data dump. It's still up on Twitch, surprisingly enough. It's still there on Twitch. But yeah, that episode was taken down from us here on YouTube. Even though that information is public information, they don't want you to know about it. So if you want to know what that's about, you missed that episode, you want to know what that's about, you can go over there on Twitch. It's still there. As a matter of fact, I'll probably make a highlight about it and keep it on there. I have downloaded the whole damn thing to my computer as well. Probably put it elsewhere, probably on the Rumble account that we have. But it's disturbing information, and that was brought down from YouTube for telling you what's in it. for telling you what Pfizer's own data says. Yeah. But as far as this goes, I wholeheartedly believe that Elon Musk is really wanting to buy Twitter. But again, like I said at the beginning, if your company is at the very least 20% fraudulent, why would I buy it at an insanely inflated price? And now you're trying to trap this man by saying, oh, well, if you back out now, you got to pay this $1 billion exit fee. Well, it seems the contract and all was fraudulent because you said 5% or less of your users are fake accounts. That doesn't seem to be the case. I don't think anything of that would really hold out in court unless they really wanted to screw this man over, which is definitely in the realm of possibilities from everything that we've seen. But yeah, as far as that goes, let's move on a little bit further. Here recently, I need to scroll back up. This is from today. It's updated from today. Online post reveals suspected gunman spent months planning racist attack at a Buffalo supermarket. Okay, now this is talking about the Buffalo shooting that happened not too long ago. I'm not going to deny it. This was a severely racist attack. It was. I mean, the dude had actually wrote a manifesto about his racist ideas and things like that. There is everything about this screams racism. I'm not going to deny that at all. But why is this propped up when the Waukesha parade attack? You know, the man who drove the SUV through a Christmas parade. Why is that not the same? I mean, that man had everything on social media saying white people are evil, white people this, white people that. I mean, he had racist rhetoric all over the place. But yet we forget about that, right? Yeah. So let's go ahead and read on a little bit about this. This is from CNN, so this is going to be very, very... The framing in this is going to be horrible. Social media post by the 18-year-old white man suspected of shooting and killing 10 people at Buffalo supermarket, which he did live stream on Twitch, which is kind of messed up. Saturday revealed that he had been planning his attack for months. Alleged gunman Peyton S. Gendron of Conklin, New York, posted that he selected a particular zip code in Buffalo because it had the highest percentage of a black population close enough to where he lived. Police and other officials had described the mass shooting as a hate crime. I would agree. I would 100% agree. Knowing what has come up about this, I do have to agree. This is a hate crime. What about Waukesha? In his post, initially written in the chat app Discord and shared on the online forum 4chan, the suspect said he visited Tops Friendly Market 3 times on March 8th to survey the layout, as well as the times of the day when there were the most customers. He planned his attack for mid-March, the post said, but postponed it several times. Of the 13 people shot, authorities say 11 were black. The alleged gunman was taken into custody in the immediate aftermath and under suicide watch after pleading not guilty to a first-degree murder charge, according to authorities. Dude. There is no way in hell you can plead not guilty to any of this. I'm sorry, you can't. There's no way. You wrote a manifesto, streamed it, literally on all your social media. You were talking about this. There was a flag from a year ago that saying something about he was going to shoot up a school or some shit like that, which should have been looked into. He should have been detained for that, but he never was. There is no way in hell you can claim not guilty. Dude, you're being thrown under the fucking jail. There's a mountain of fucking evidence against you, and you're going to claim not guilty for what? Let's see. The latest developments. Presidential visit in Buffalo on Tuesday. President Joe Biden called the shooting domestic terrorism. Domestic terrorism. Violence or intimidation to gain political power. What about this was political? Other than the actual nature of our political climate, I'm going to take these off. They turned off. But again, what about this is to gain political power? Nothing. Is this domestic terrorism? Hell no. That's just a claim the president made to make himself look good in front of the cameras. I mean, me sitting here saying fuck Joe Biden is apparently domestic terrorism, according to him. So, fuck. Violence inflicted in the service of hate and vicious thirst for power that defines one group of power being inherently inferior to any other group. No, that is racism. That has absolutely nothing to do with domestic terrorism. Terrorism is defined as using violence or intimidation to gain political power. What he just described was racism. He said that the people need to say as clearly and as forcefully as he can to the ideology of white supremacy had no place in America. I agree with you. It doesn't. But it's not as prevalent as it's not as prevalent as it's propped up to be here in America anymore. All right. It's not. The stupidity that is revolved around that has just gone way too far. It's used every 2 to 4 years. Whenever somebody needs votes, racism is always brought up. It's always been a thing. It's always been a political point. But now, because of everything that has happened, it has stayed in everybody's mind. It has always been in the background of everybody's mind. And because our politicians have caused this problem, this is the direct result of that. And Waukesha. Let's just call a spade here. And a lot of other instances as well. Let's see. He and First Lady Joe Biden also visited a memorial site of the victims. Suspect visited supermarket in the day before the attack. Gendron was at the Tops Friendly Market on Friday, the day before the shooting, doing reconnaissance. Buffalo Police Commissioner Joseph Gramagilla. I'm bad with the names, apparently. Gramagilla. Whatever that name is. He was also there in early March. Manager says he told the Gendron to leave. He told Gendron to leave Friday. Operation manager at the market told ABC News that she saw him at the store on Friday and told him to leave because it looked like he was bothering customers. Sorry. Trying to burp without making it sound bad on the microphone here. Gendron sitting on a bench outside the store wearing the camouflage he would wear on Saturday left without an argument. Chanel Harris Teague told ABC. Teague's brother, the Reverend Tim Newkirk, told the Buffalo News that Gendron was posing as a beggar, and Teague told him he couldn't handle them. Well, I'll take that back. I was going to say I don't know why you would do that, but I mean, if you're if you're trying to gain intel about the place, the layout of the place, the most popular times for a place, I guess that would be a good idea, though. If he was black, he would be found not guilty because the white man made him do it. Kind of like the Waukesha incident. But I guess that would. No, that sounds bad. That is actually a good idea, though. I mean, make it look like you're homeless and begging for money, and the only thing they're going to do is just tell you to leave. It's actually pretty smart. I'm not gonna lie. Attack would have continued elsewhere had the suspect not been stopped. The suspect had other target locations down the street. Erie County Sheriff John Garcia said authorities found another rifle and a shotgun in his vehicle, said Garcia, who credited the quick arrival to 2 police officers who prevented other attacks. Writing seen in suspect's firearms, CNN has obtained a photo of 2 of the other firearms inside the alleged gunman's vehicle that were not used in the shooting. Writing seemed on the weapons, including the phrase "White Lives Matter," as well as what appears to be the name of a victim in the crime committed by a black suspect. I'm going to bring up more information about this, and I'll look this up because I do not think CNN is actually going to bring this up, but we'll see. Video shows gunmen apologizing, sparing one person's life. Video obtained by CNN and filmed during the shooting shows the gunman turning his weapon on a man who curled up in the ground near what looks to be a checkout lane. The man shouts no, and the shooter says sorry, turns and walks away. The video ends at that point, and it is unknown what happened next. It's not clear why the man was apparently spared or why the gunman apologized. Threats made after the attack. 2 people have been arrested. One arrested over threats made after the attack. Buffalo Mayor Brian Brown told CNN on Tuesday, without detailing the threats. On Monday, Erie County's district attorney announced the arrest of a 52-year-old man who called a pizzeria Sunday afternoon, making threatening comments while referencing what happened after Tops. Let's scroll through this real quick. I don't think nope. They're not going to mention that. But see if I can find this real quick. You're not gonna. I can scroll in. That is the Buffalo shooter right there. That symbol on his chest is used in the Azov battalion over in Ukraine. Which are the how do I put this? The World War II regime. That's a symbol linked to that. And how much money are we spending over there in Ukraine? So we are funding this. I guarantee you CNN is not going to talk about that, but see, let's go on a little bit. This issue, but as a matter of fact, y'all can just read that shit because it goes off the rails at that point. Buffalo mass shooter calls himself an authoritarian left, national socialist in alleged manifesto. Now, during questions, are you a neo-Nazi? I support neo-Nazism, but I am not a member of any neo-Nazi group. You decide what that makes me. Are you a conservative? No, conservatism is corporatism in disguise. I want no part of it. Are you a homophobe, anti-LGBTQ? I believe the problems involving the LGB drop the T are very insignificant if one is actually part of the LGB or LGB group. They are loyal to their people. That is fine with me. Transgenderism, however, is a mental illness and should be addressed as such. And that is a quote. Don't take it down because I'm reading something on a screen, YouTube or Twitter, or I'm sorry, Twitch. Are you right wing? Depending on the definition, sure. Are you left wing? Depending on the definition, sure. So the kid really doesn't know where he lines up as far as that goes. Why this was a part of that, I don't know. Did you always hold these views? When I was 12, I was deep into communist ideology. Talk to anyone from my older high school and ask about me, and you will hear that. From age 15 to 18, however, I consistently moved further to the right. On the political compass, I fall in the mild, moderate, authoritarian left category, and I would prefer to be called a populist. Mild, moderate, authoritarian left? I'm not, well, if you want to go authoritarian left with that, I guess racism does actually fall into that category. Especially since what we've seen from the left today. So yeah, okay. Were your beliefs given to you by your friends, family, or society? No. Politics was never really discussed in my family or old friend groups. What do you consider white? Those who are ethnically and culturally European. What do you consider non-white? Those who are not ethnically and culturally European. What are your views? I would prefer, I call myself a populist, but you can call me an ethno-nationalist, eco-fascist, national socialist if you want. I wouldn't disagree with you. I bring this up because before this was ever a thing, the media was attacking him, saying far right, far right, far right, far right, racist, racism, 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 far right. What are they saying now? Yeah, see, they use this to push the supremacy claim. Even on TV, even still on our news, they still talk about this as somehow far right. But they want to hide this from you. They want to hide, in his own words, where he says ethno-nationalist, eco-fascist, national socialist, authoritarian left, in his own words. But yet somehow this is far right terrorism. This is far right racism. This is far right this, far right. This is the problem with our media, guys. This is the problem with even the things that, you know, me and other people, you know, independent media read. This is the problem. Like, they read this, and the framing behind it is what catches people. The framing behind it is what blinds people to believe these things. Because it's written on the internet or they say it on TV, so it must be true. Yet they hide this kind of information. National socialists have always been racist. Yes, Santos has a point. You are correct. National socialists has always been a somewhat racial identity background that's kind of, you're not part of the group kind of social kind of hierarchy. I mean, shit. Look at China, for example. What happened with the Uyghur Muslims? They're national socialists all over the damn place. That's what the country. What is it? The Socialist Republic of China or some shit like that. I forget exactly what that is, but yes, you are correct. So to sit there and say this is a far right extremist, domestic terrorist claim from the fucking president, nothing about this is political, asshole. Shut your potato brain ass up. We don't want to hear it anymore. But this is the kind of shit that is hidden because they don't want you to know about it. They don't tell you this on your TV. They don't tell you this in the CNN article. They don't tell you any of this. They don't tell you these connections because that makes our agenda look bad. However, y'all remember this? I do. Not fitting their narrative. Waukesha feels abandoned after tragic parade attack. In this man right here, this black man drove a SUV through a Christmas parade after his social media was full of anti-white rhetoric. That was a racist attack. Was it ever posed that way? Was it ever made out that way? That was clear racism. That was a hate crime. Did you hear anything about it? You heard about it for a few days, and then it was memory hold. Because they found out what was in his social media. And it didn't fit the narrative. White supremacy is the biggest problem here in America. Really? Really? You can cite some credible events, but I can cite more where it's not. I can cite a lot more where it's not, especially this one. All over that man's social media was everything, I hate white people, all white people should die kind of situation. Everywhere. And then he ran through a Christmas parade. What was it? Killing, how many was it? Since November, killing 6 people, including an 8-year-old boy, and injuring up to 6 others. Up to 6 others? How would you not know? I mean, if they went to the hospital. Well, I've been hit by a car and didn't get hurt that much and never went to the hospital. So I guess you could say up to. So I can see how that would be a thing too. So yeah. But yeah, this dude killed 6 people, injures up to 60 people, driving through a Christmas parade because he hated white people. Yet this was never labeled as a hate crime. Y'all see the problem here? Now, I'm going to go ahead and say, hate crime or not, call it out. Somebody does something racist, call it the hell out. All right? Somebody does something or attack somebody because of the color of their skin. Yeah, lock them the hell up. Get them off the street. But that goes both ways. That goes all ways. Whatever happened to Stop Asian Hate? You remember all that? What happened to that? Information started to get out that white people weren't the ones attacking Asian people the majority of the time. But yet here we go again. Because then it's election time. Let's draw up the racist narrative yet again. Let's try to get that whole base fired up again. We haven't even calmed down from 2 years ago about it. Yet here we are again. Yo, I'm done with this shit. I really am. I'm done with the claims of this racist narrative from especially our government. I'm done with the double standards. I'm done with this whole government as a whole. It doesn't matter. Democrat, Republican, Independent. I don't care. Everybody's got to go. Let's restart because we're spending more money in Ukraine than we are here at home. Our babies can't eat because everything's down there at the southern fucking border. Inflation's gone through the roof, yet we're spending billions overseas to protect somebody else's border. Not for that reason. We're actually, how many politicians do we have? Because I can count 5, including Nancy Pelosi. How many politicians do we have with children in prominent positions within businesses over in Ukraine that don't belong there? Hunter Biden being a perfect example. Yet we spend money over there to protect them from a war they're supposedly winning hands down. Supposedly. Yet every video and everything that I see, hell, I saw a picture of, let's see, let me bring it up. Cars overturned in war-torn Ukraine. Images. Let's bring this one up. Oh, you son of a... This is supposed to be a war-torn country, right? These cars are overturned. They look like they're on fire. Yet not a single window in the photo is smashed. Wait, that doesn't make sense, now does it? You got people like, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden. I think even Mitch McConnell went over there. When Russia's supposed to own the air, they flew into a war-torn country, so they feel secure enough to fly into a country that is constantly at war to hand them our money. But they don't feel safe here in America? Interesting thought, right? Now, there are videos out there of, like, it's this little square block where apparently it was like right after the Russian army had left, of everything being demolished, everything being burnt down to the ground, but no debris on the streets, cars still driving around, people still walking around. Are we being fed the real information about this? Because I highly fucking doubt it. Now, you're going to sit there and tell me that Russia walked in just to destroy a city block, clean up, and then leave? I don't buy that. What army would go into a war zone and do that? Not to mention the questionable things that have come up from citizens of Ukraine. You can say it's misinterpreted or mistranslated or whatever you want to say, but even their own citizens are saying it's not the Russians killing us. There are videos of that. I don't know what to think about that. I don't know what to actually derive from that because I don't speak Ukrainian. I don't even know if that's their language or the name of their language or whatever. But if that's true, I don't see this being what we're being told. None of this makes sense, but I just wanted to bring all that up because this kid is wearing the Azov battalion symbol on his chest that they use over in Ukraine. We are funding Ukraine. Ipso facto, we are funding this shit. While we struggle with gas prices, while we struggle with inflation, while we are struggling with food shortages that are starting to affect us now, and that will ramp up. And this is what we spend our money on, guys. But all of that included, y'all take a look at all that shit yourself. Because I'm running a risk of this even being pulled down from YouTube, telling you what I've told you. Hell, we already had one go down because I pointed you towards data dump. Apparently, Pfizer's own information is misinformation, apparently. But yeah, it's still on Twitch if y'all want to go over there and look that up. But I call into question a lot of this, and I wanted to bring all this to your attention. And I will continue to raise this alarm time after time after time after time again. Because this is our own government doing this shit. What we thought we were the good guys, no, we're not. Our southern border is wide open. The World Economic Forum is holding a summit to have the leaders of the world vote to dissolve constitutions and the rights of the people for our country and 194 others next week. As a matter of fact, the 22nd, we only got like 5 more days till that actually begins. And I will say it again. When tyranny becomes law, duty becomes, or rebellion becomes duty. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in for a lot of troubling times ahead. And if you haven't prepared for it yet, I don't know what to tell you anymore. There have been people all over social media cryptically trying to sound the alarm. And what's scary as hell is that you get more information off TikTok than you would Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or even Twitch. It's scary as hell that app that's full of stupidity and insanity is the one leading the charge now. But I'm going to go ahead and end this for y'all tonight. I will be trying to set up more talks with different people about abortion, the abortion issue that has been raised yet again. The first episode was supposed to be a huge discussion. Didn't turn out that way because there was problems with a lot of people and their life outside. But we did have a great talk with 2 other people, Freely Ashley from TikTok and a gaming friend of ours, Kari. Yeah, that went for 3 hours. So just those 2 people alone took 3 hours. I could imagine how long the discussion would have been had there been a group that I was planning to actually have. We will be breaking it down more and having more discussions with the different people about that. And I'm going to, at the end of all this, I'm going to have the people that bring up the best points along the way, try to bring them back to actually have the group discussion and keep it within a reasonable time frame. But that's coming up. I still got a lot of work to do with that. Abel is on vacation, so I'm doing all of this alone. But I'm going to go ahead and work some more on that tonight. I got to get out of here. So I will leave you with the ending, and we'll call it a night. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a voice, and it's important. Time to use it. Please, sit down. Let's talk. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.